Now let's say in the account app. In the account app, we have also models of PY, and it has a user model. Now, by default, Django gives you an user model, but if you need, if you want to customize it, it becomes very hard. So that's why it's better to create your own user model and then inherit from abstract user. Fine, and you can have the field is same. Here's one more thing which is required fields, like you have to mention which one is required. So it takes as an iterable. Now I have only mentioned the email because by default username or password comes under the required fields. Here also you can see underscore underscore str underscore underscore and get underscore absolute URL. Fine. In the views.py you can also see that thing sign up view. Now what the sign up view is same a create view, which is a class view. There will be attribute like model, form class, template name, success URL. The form valid, like we are having a form validation. Now if you are wondering what this code is, I will explain it. Like whenever you are signing it up, fine, you might have seen in the last video, the moment I signed up with a user, it automatically logged me in. So how? So the moment I am signing it up, it is checking my credential, whether the credential this user has put, whether they are valid or not. So the moment it is checking if they are valid, what's it doing? It is extracting the username and password from those credentials, and using the authenticate and login function, it is logging you in. Fine. So that whenever someone signs up, it will automatically log them in. Fine. Now the user detail view is same as a detail view. Fine. The user update view is also same as update view. The user delete view is same as a delete view. Now, as I said, I'll explain this thing, the mixin part. You might have seen in update view and delete view, there are logging required mixin and user passes test mixin. Now, see, these things are actually, you can say, some conditional thing. Let's suppose if I mention logging required mixin, that means to access this view, one should be logged in. Now, this takes an attribute that login URL. I am using reverse lazy login. Now, I will explain what reverse lazy is. I will explain that when I will go to the URL part. So, you can assume it that if it will check whether the user is logged in or not. If he is not, it will redirect to login URL where he or she can log in. Fine. What the user passes test mixin does, it gives you an authority to override the text func method. Now, what does the text func method do? By default, Django does not give you object level permission. Okay, so this mixin, it does give you object level permission. So suppose if you open someone else's blog and you try to delete it, you can delete it because that's why this function come in. It will check whether who wants to delete this blog, like the user who is currently operating, his ID, does it match with the author who has wrote this blog? So if they only match, then when it will give you permission to delete, either not. Fine. Now let's check to the signals. Okay, signals are like there are many signals like post save. Like if signals are like if something is happening at some part of your Django project, it will indicate something. It will having an effect. Like suppose what's happening here. I'm having post save signal. Sender it get user model, and there is a receiver. So sender will always be an object and the receiver will always be a function. Cool. So here the get user model is whenever a user getting infused in a model. So the moment a user created, it will send a signal, and if created, it will add the user by default to a reader group. Fine. So that's how the signal work. Now coming to the URL part. Now this is a very important thing. So I will start from the main URL. You see there's a lot of things. Now by the admin part, you can see it by default. Now you see there also include thing. Include means, let's suppose if I click on something which have this keyword, then it will ask me to go to this app and this will go to the URL file of this app. Like suppose if I log in, let me log in, and suppose if I hover here, you can see at the left bottom of my screen you're having a localhost /account/user_view/4. so if you omit the localhost, after that it has account. So that means if you have account in your URL, at first after the localhost you will go to the URL file of account. So let's go to the URL file of account, and what can I see? Yes, after that account part, after the account per whichever pattern will get matched, it will call the views accordingly. So if you can see when I hover here, it will ask user_view. So it matches this pattern, user_view. We had a /4 also, which is an integer. Actually these are converters, like there are converters like integer and slug. In this case I'm using an integer, and suppose I will give you an example of slug, don't worry. Let's suppose, so when this URL will be called, it will give you an access. So like, hey, if you are asking for this URL, you should go to this view. Now if you are using a function based view, you do not need to write this as view, but as we are writing in class based view, we need the as view function. So it's like, hey, you should go to this view and ask for the URL. Now suppose I will go to this view, the user detail view, and when you will reach the user detail view, you will see, hey, let's see, I have a model, I have a template, I have the ID. Now you should have, now you should just render the template according to all the details I have. So the view will dictate which template to render. Now when I will click, like if I click in here, it will give a request to that URL, which will lead to the view, which will eventually render this template, which is my profile.html, nothing more. Fine, I hope you get the flow. And then suppose if I go to the blog URL, you can see, yes, you can see a slug converter. Fine, now how does a slug converter work? Now to get a slug, you first have to make it. So if I go to the model.py, you see I have a slug field, but that slug field is blank true. So although it's unique, but it's blank. So how does it work? It works like, the moment you try to save, the moment it is validated or the title, fine, it will check and it will use slugify function to create a slug of your title, and then will add the slug in your slug field of that particular model. Fine, and then it will use that slug for, like, is it all like a unique thing, fine, to call the particular URL, and which will call a view, which will help you to render a template. Like suppose if I go here and if I hover here, you can see at the bottom left is this having a localhost /blog/slug of this title. Fine. Now you are seeing this name. What's this name? Now suppose you have seen this name where I was using the reverse lazy, isn't it? So if I go to view, and suppose I'm going view to the account app, here see the login URL reverse lazy login. That means it is saying that the login URL is whatever the URL that particular URL is having, which is named login. Fine. So if I see the URL, so I have, like, whenever I use include django.config.auth.urls, I get an access to several URLs, which include login, logout, register, those things, like even though you have not used the sign up view, you could have done this by default. So login comes from there. If I use it, I can give a very good example here. Yes, like here, like if you see the success URL is reverse lazy success. So there is a URL in the blog urls.py which is named success. So when you say reverse lazy, it will call that URL which is having a name success. Fine. Now, now if you see what is different between reverse and reverse lazy, it's something like when URLs are called by default, it's a lazy execution. So like it won't get access until unless all the things are evaluated. So by using reverse lazy, we're saying ki evaluate this URL only when it is asked. Cool. And you might have seen the absolute URL. Now what's that? If you mention absolute URL under a particular model, it means suppose if any view is related to that model and if someone is not writing their success URL for this, it will automatically redirect after whatever the action is done to this particular URL which is having a reverse of this name. Fine. So I guess all the things have been explained. Yeah, there's certain things left like the admin. If here you can see this admin thing is only for yourself. Like how do you want to customize your admin panel? Okay, like suppose you can only import and register, and here suppose if you want other field, you can do this in that way, adding fields. Or if you want some customization to look, suppose here if you want a list display, you can have a list display attribute. If you want a search field where you can search, if you want to, then you can have a search field. It's all there. You just have to mention the attribute and write accordingly. Let's come to the ultimate thing, the settings.py. Now it contains everything actually, like every definition, everything. So there are a couple of things, like there are many things you don't even need to touch, and then again there are things you need to touch. So like install apps, like whenever you will having a new thing, you will try to install, you have to add it to the install app. Now, that's a iterable thing. So and be remember sometimes the order matters. So debug, there's debug, like suppose if you keep debug equal to false, so it won't show this kind of debugs then. There are many things, like suppose for the static file, the media files, you have to write those. Even suppose if you're having any third party, like suppose Django extension, TinyMC, Historyform, you have to mention those too. And suppose if as you want for you are using the abstract user, for that also you have to mention that you are having an abstract user so that you can have the author user model, or by default it will check for the user thing. And then again if you want to have your password reset link in your console, for that you need the authentication backend. Fine. And the email backend. What does the email backend do? It is like, remember when we were discussing in the last video, we can log in using our username and email both. So now that's the thing. And I believe all the things have been covered. Thanks again.